my data architect documentation. I can find it on the web. Here you can find your documentation, and you will see, for example, automating RStudio Data Architect. I can also find it directly in the solution. So if I go here and on the upper right, I can see user guide, and I will have the same. Here I have in my user guide automating RStudio Data Architect, and I have all the explanation regarding the solution. So in fact, we just explained how it works. So you can directly interact with objects from Data Studio Architect, and you will be able to directly automate some actions in the products. You can do whatever you need, and we provide some samples directly in the solution. If you if you have installed RStudio Data Architect, you will navigate to this folder. In this folder, you will find a README folder, and in this README folder, you will have some examples, some explanation how to start, how to create your first application which use Data Architect. And you can find the information here, the file table list.zip in automating RStudio Data Architect. So today I will use my Data Architect. I have a virtual machine. If I want to connect, I have my license server installing this virtual machine, so I can use my Data Architect. And we will use some project to show what we can do with the different macros. So regarding how to start with macros, I will definitely suggest to check the user guide with the automation. So the page I just show you, which explain everything for the first step, when you need to use them, why you need to use them, and if you have something you need to iterate, I will suggest to definitely create something which can help you if it's not directly available in the product. So to start, you have this documentation, and everything is explained here. And you can also go to another documentation which is dedicated for the automation interface. So if I open this documentation, I will have a document, first an introduction which explains how it works, the difference between RStudio when you run your macro from RStudio and from another application. We said it is possible to use other application. And from here, I will have some example and first explanation how to use them. You will have another folder with all, not all, but lots of different code samples. So you can see the different code samples which are available in Data Architect. So if I show Data Architect, here I have a macro tab, okay. And in this macro tab, you will have sample macros, and in these different sample macros, all these macros are directly available when you install the solution. And you can, from the documentation, see the different macros, and you can read directly from these comments a quick explanation of what it does, and you can use them directly. And for me, the most interesting part is this one, which explains all the different objects that you will have in your application, in your script. You will have an explanation of all the different objects and how to use them. You will see, you will always have an overview, the different members that belongs to your object. So when you are doing some codes, you will need to use these different objects. I will explain when I will show you the code just after. And you can from here. So you have the two documentation, like I said. And from this different documentation, then I will be able to see my different objects. Regarding the folders where it is stored, if we go to Tools, Options, I have here directories, which is available, and I can see that all the different macros are stored in this folder. If I navigate to this folder, I will see so my macro folder, I have my samples macro already created. This one are macros that I have created on my side, on my own. And in the samples macro, you will find all your different macros, and you will be able to copy this macro. This folder will be protected to avoid to overwrite your macro. But if you want, you can copy this macro in your own folder, like I did. Create a W folder. In it, I put my own macros, and I can, like this, create and save my macros how I want. From this menu, you can create a new folder, but you can add a macro. If you create a folder on the macro itself, you can always click add macro, and it will automatically open this window. If I click here, new macro, I can create my macro directly from here. So for example, like it is explained, so always check the documentation. You can go to your introduction. Here you can see, for example, here it is opening a file from directly a file. Okay, my diagram manager will open a file on my hard drive. What we will do here is just I will create my diagram just like they did. From here I will do I will set my diagram to I will set my diagram. I will affect the value. In fact, from here I will get my diagram will be equals to. We have automatically diagram manager. As explained, sorry, in my introduction, when we are using RStudio, it will automatically create inside. You begin with diagram manager, so it is already instance in my application. So I have my diagram manager, and for example, when I click, when I type my dot, I will have all the different properties, members, and functions that are available for my object. Okay, so diagram manager is already created in my macro editor when I'm using RStudio Data Architect. And if I check here, I have all the different methods. If I navigate to my documentation, if I go to my object, I have used not application, yes, application. This is application, just to check, yes. Then I will use diagram, but I am on my application for now. It is explained where you can find the samples if you some example if you want to use another language for here. And I can check my application members, and here I can see active data directory. It will return my current active data directory. If I click, if I call active diagram, it will automatically return the current active diagram. So if I go back to my data architect editor, macro editor, I will be able from here, if I put back my dot, I will see my active diagram, and automatically my variable here will be set with my current diagram. And here my current diagram is this one, because this is the one I have selected. So from here, I have already done something. I have this variable which is populated. And from this variable, if I check what I can do, so if I click the type control space, automatically it will prompt me, it will help me to type what I have started. For example, if I remove control space, automatically it scrolls where Y to the different word which contains the start of what I have typed. So my diagram dot, and if I check here, I can see that I can get my active model, I can get the author of the diagram, and so on. So if we check on my data architect here, if I want to get from my diagram, for example, if I go to models, and here I will go to diagram properties, I can check my information. Here I will put W dot, I will type IDERA version 1.0, IDERA 2, okay, caps lock and lowercase. I click OK, and if I go back here, if I control space for my completion, if I type author, for example, if I can display this value, debug is window. This window here is debug. So if I go to debug.print, I will display the value of my author, my diagram.author. So if I click play, here you can see that it has written W dot. I have done a previous test. I can remove it. If I play it again, I have my author. If I change its value, I can go here and I can see, for example, the company name. And if I click play, it will display my company name. So every time you want to check something, you can display it in your immediate window. From your diagram, so if I look at my data architect, when I click, let me put this code bigger. When I call this method, diagram, it will return the current diagram. So the current diagram will be what we have at this level. Okay. This is my data model here. Then, if I want to get what is below, I will go, for example, to my different models. If I open, for example, this one, I show you. Here I have my models, logical. I have a JSON file for an object country. I have another database with different tables and so on. So this is my model level. So if I want to go further, define here a new variable. So I will define my model to store my reference to my model. So model. If you see automatically I get models. And if I want to get all my different models available in my current diagram, because I selected my active diagram, I can, for example, create a loop for each my model in, and here I will use my diagram, which we have created earlier, my diagram dot, and I will get my different models. So I can type M, and I will have here models, and I will, for each models, when I click enter, type enter, automatically create my next. And from here, I can, for example, write in my window here, debug.print, and here I will print for my model, dot, and here I can see the different objects which are available in my model. I can see, for example, the different database platform. I can get the name of my model. If I scroll, for example, I can type N. So I can put my name, and I can, for example, add some text, and I will add my model dot, and from here you will be able to, for example, database platform to print the database platform. And if I run once again my script, you will see the company name, and then you have all the different platforms available. For the logical one, makes sense. There's no platform associated for the physical, for the logical model, but for all the other one, I can see different platform. When you don't know how to start, what I usually do is I'm checking all the different macros that are available in the solution. From here, I will check what it does and attachment example. So if you are using some attachment, you have an example which are using attachment. You can find some different information. When you run some different macros, it will usually it won't be exactly what you need. You will need some customization to do whatever you want. So for example, if I edit this import column from Excel, I can click here, I see my script, and this macro will import, yeah, I wanted to export, it was easier, but never mind. This macro will import entities and columns using information provided in Excel spreadsheet, and we can see that it will expect a format like this one. So the first column should be entity name, the second column should be table name, and so on. But for example, I don't want to, I don't have, my table name is always the same as my entity name, so I can duplicate my column in Excel, or I can remove this value. So obviously, this one, when you have a tick, it means that it will be a comment. So changing the code here doesn't do anything. So I will navigate to my script. I can check eventually the different function. Here I can see do import. Probably it is done here. So if I look, I will see that they create an object of type Excel application. So it will automatically create an application Excel. And from here, they will open the file name, probably we got from earlier. And from this value, you can see that it will call some objects and methods from my Excel application, and it will automatically get the different values from this Excel spreadsheet. And my table name, for example, is here, and I can remove my table name from this code like this, or I can put a comment to ignore this line, and automatically it won't use this column. Here, I will have to change because it will still check the third column. So I will have to put 2, 3, 4, so to decrease all the different numbers if I want to achieve this. But you can always create this code. Normally, I should not be able to save. So you can click File Save like this, but I will strongly recommend to automatically usually move to another folder. In macro, you create your own folders. So like this, you will edit your own macros in your own folder, and it will be easier to manage if you do something. Okay, I save here, and now I can use my macro instead of modifying everything from here. And I can always refresh my macro. I right click on this folder, and if we check, we have a new folder, demo, with the new macro available here. When you have created some macros, you want maybe you will want to use them to do some specific actions because you have coded the specific actions. And what you can do, you can achieve different. We have different features regarding this. We can create some macro shortcuts. When we are here, I haven't created any macro shortcuts at the model level. So what we can do from here is to add some macros. So we can see for the diagram menu, I can add my new created save as to be honest, macro. So I can add this macro here. And now if I right click once again on my it was here on my macro, I will have direct access to this macro. You can also do it from this ribbon tab. So you can, from the ribbon tab, create a new macro. You can manage shortcuts, and the shortcuts will be available here. So, for example, I have some macros here which will do, if I take this one, for example, I go to my model, this one. I can select this object. I can run my macro W hub, and it will automatically you can see that I have selected one employee here, one table, and from this one table has been selected. I can select my W hub, and it will automatically run my own macro, and it does what I need. I can click, I can select my dictionary, and point to there. Okay. And automatically my macro has created this object because I coded it like this. Okay. Can show you from Excel how to use our automation interface. So when I'm using Excel, for example, I want to get all my I want to get my different properties. So I will, for instance, I want to get my diagram name. I want to get the company name, my model name, and then I want to get my different tables. Insert like this. So what I can do with Excel, I can easily start a new macro from my Excel. Okay, I can click to record a macro within Excel. You have lots of different tutorials if you need. If you Google Excel create macro, it will be explained. I can give a name to my macro. I will say get data from RStudio Data Architect. It will be stored in my workbook. We click OK, and here I will say this is diagram name. Here, never mind, company name, model name, and table 1, table 2. And I will stop this macro. With Excel, you can type on your keyboard Alt F11, which will open your macros. You can probably open it too from developers, Visual Basic. I can click here. You will open this window. By default, it will be saved in the first module, and you can see that what we have done together, I have written here in my code. I can see that I have written that it is their name, it is company name, and so on. So to use RStudio in your Excel, what I will start to go to Tools, Preferences. In Tools References, I can see that I have some default references added to my Excel. And if I scroll, I will see in this list RStudio type library. I will check this reference directly. I will say OK. And now, what I can do from here, I can, for example, like we did earlier with the interface with this one, with the data macro editor from Data Architect. I'm able to do the same from here. So like explained here, outside RStudio, you begin with an instance of RStudio application. So I can copy part of code. I can go here, and I will define my diagram manager as RStudio application. And you see here it's working. I can control space. Okay, if I remove and if I put the dot, so here I am in Excel. Okay, this is not our application. I can see my different objects. So I will start with application like the request, and I will set my diagram manager that equals create object, and I will put the same name here. And from here, I will be able to use everything I need. So like we did in Data Architect directly, I can create here my diagram as diagram, and so on. We'll go ahead after. No, let's finish. I will dim my model as model. Dim my entity as I will put my entity, a create entity to store my to get access to my different tables. So put it here so you can see it. So from here, I have created my diagram manager. What I will do is set my model, my diagram. I said. So my diagram equals diagram manager dot active diagram. Then I will set my model equals my diagram dot forget something. It's easy. Just look at what you have in your other example. Here I have my diagram is a diagram. my model as model, my diagram dot model. Okay. So if I go back here, my diagram dot model. Yeah, should work. And my model, that's where there's something wrong. Let me check. If I whatever, I can play, debug, tip mismatch here. My diagram equals diagram manager. Why? Diagram. Let me check. I have my notes here. Yes, you. Ah, my bad. Yeah, we are not in. I have to. Yes, I know. I have to prefix my different objects so it knows that they come because diagram may exist in the other reference. So this is my bad. From here, I have some other references, okay, and I can change the priority to have mine first and to be sure that it's using the appropriate diagram. Or I can prefix all my different objects, and I will be sure that it's using the diagram from Data Architect and not the diagram from Excel itself. So this is why it wasn't working. So here I can check. I have my completion working normally. My model is here. I have different models in my diagram. Yes, and so yeah, my model will be not this one. I will take my active model to not loop on all my different models. So right now I am. If I go to my model, I can see that I am on this model that we can see behind, and can minimize this one. Okay, this one, and so I go back to my Excel, and from here I have my active model here, and I want to if I check back my Excel book, I want to print my different tables, my model name, and so on. So if I go back here, what I will do here, I have diagram name. So I will replace this string with my diagram, like we did earlier. Dot name doesn't exist. What is diagram? Okay, project name. Okay. I can for my company name, it will be my diagram dot company here. I have a model name. I will replace with my model dot name normally, yes. And then I have my different tables that I should add. So to achieve this, I don't know how many tables I will have in my model. Okay. So what I will do, I will create another variable. I can create my dim row as integer. Okay, it will be correspond to this row number. I will use this. So what I can do from here is, yes, I have selected A6. Yes, this is the first one. So what I will do from here, I will set row equals 6. Okay, because this is the first row where I want to insert my table name. And for this row 6, what I will do, I will create my loop here for each my entity we have created earlier. So my entity in my model, so in my current model dot entity entities, and here what I will do is I will write in the first column like I did here. I will add my row like this. Okay, so I am on the first loop. I will be on A6, so I will override this value. And when I will for right now I will only select this column, and I can change its value using with active cell, or I can directly the difference. So active cell dot value can use. If it's a formula, I can use formula, but value is enough. And I will say it equals my entity, okay, which comes from here, first for all the different entities, and I will get the table name for this entity. And to finish the loop for each entity in my entities, I will type next. I will remove this part of code because it is done in this part here, and I can run my code once again. And what we can see here, we have two tables from MS SQL. If I check my object, my model here from MS SQL, I have only. I forgot something. Here you can see table 2 hasn't been updated. I can see only one value here because I just forgot in my loop to increment my variable. So if I here I type IRO, it equals IRO plus 1. So here it is 6, and when the first value will be printed, the value will be 7, and so it will be printing 7, 8, and so on. So if I play it once again, this time I have all my different tables directly. The tables, the name of my tables have been automatically I got all my different tables from name directly in my Excel spreadsheet. So you can see how it is achieved. I have, for example, this model that can go to tools, and from tools, for example, I can generate a report. When you generate a report, you have two types of report that you can generate: HTML report or RTF if you want to edit it with Word, for example. From here, you will also select the target folder where you want to export it. So I will get this path in my clipboard so I can open it after. Then what you can do, you can also, when you use this different wizard in Data Architect, usually you will have this wizard quick launch. So the wizard quick launch is all the steps I will do in this wizard. I will be able in the last page to record, to save the configuration, and then I will be able from here to load this configuration and to run this configuration in one click. Okay. But for example, if you want to automate how it is done from Data Architect, if you want, for example, to schedule your the call to your macro, you can use from Data Architect. If I go back here, I can see that in my macro I can use running. Here I have another link. So normally I already share it in GoToMeeting chat, but you can see here from here you can call here Studio, and you can pass macro to your command line. You can use this macro, and then you can call this macro. So sorry. So from here, what I will show you is how to automate. We will create this new macro from scratch, which can be useful for different people. So do I want from this configuration wizard for my report? I can invoke my to view my report after it is generated. As I want to call it from a macro, I will say no. I have different options. My model is quite small, so it's okay. I can select here the different options I want to see in my documentation. I can select for this. I want this different information and so on, or the different features. I select which diagram I want to include in my documentation. I can use my own logo, my own link in the documentation. So this page is dedicated for the HTML options. If you select an RTF1, the option will be different. You can click next. Here I have my different information regarding my project. I can change also. And in this last step, what I will do is I will use a file-based quick launch settings. It can be saved in your registry or in your file system. So I will use a file-based quick launch, and I will save my example is will be report 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 what was it report training is the name of the database. So I have saved my configuration. So I click finish. Here it asks me to create the folder. Okay, I create the folder. And when I click yes, it has automatically generated for me my documentation in the default folder. I can rerun the same report. Like I said, I can load my file. So we have created report training together. We'll check here that, do I have this path? No. I will copy the path and I will open another Explorer, use it after. So from XML, I can see in my different project, and the last one we have created together is report training. So I can click on my report training directly from the UI. Here, I can directly run my configuration, or I can load all the settings I have selected in my wizard. But what we will do is we will use this configuration to create our own macro, which will automatically export using this configuration. So everything you have defined using the UI, which is pretty simple because you are using the UI, you will use it to create your own macro. So I can go to macro, I can create a new macro, okay? And from here, what do I need? I will have my diagram manager as usual, diagram manager, which is available because I'm using the macro editor directly from Data Architect. And my macro manager has my active diagram, or I can open a file and I can get from here, I will see I need to put my full path name to my file. So for example, I can use this project. I want to export these different tables. So I will save my project. I will save as to have the path directly available. Okay, it is in document. This is DD no repo. So from here, what I can do, minimize, maximize to have my macro editor. So from here, I will put my path. So the path will be document. It will be here. I have my DD no repo. So this is the path I will need. Slash. The file name is here. Copy. Don't forget the extension if you master it. So here I will automatically open in my Data Architect. So if I close it, and if I just play this this line of code we just did together, I will have expecting. Yes, I open my parenthesis here. So I close my parenthesis, and when I click play, what we can see, it has automatically opened my diagram. So I can check if I want to check. So it will open my file, and what I like to do is two things. I can check here what my diagram manager will send. So this is the application. If I look at open file, I will see here somewhere open file. Okay. And from this list, read the given complete file path from the DM1 file. And it sends back a diagram. So as it sends back my diagram, I will define a diagram. So my diagram, for example, as diagram, like we did in our previous example. Okay. Go back here. I have my diagram, which will get, here it was getting the current diagram. Here I will get the diagram from here. So what I will do is set equals, and here I will set my diagram. So my diagram will be equals to the diagram we just opened. Automatically, it will be set in my variable. I can check if I want, yeah, my diagram, my diagram is empty, nothing, empty, nothing, I think, is nothing. So I check if if, for example, I put a path that doesn't exist, okay, put a new letter here, so we will not find anything. So I can say that if it's nothing, then I can send a message. So you need to know a little bit about basic. This is why I asked at the beginning. So you need at least know some methods like this one. Message box will prompt a message with the message you will put here and file not one, for example, we can say. I have different parameters. They are not mandatory, so I will not put it. And from here, I will stop. I will exit my function, my function, and so automatically will stop my application. So this is not the right file. I can close it, by the way, once again. And if I click play, we can see file not found, which is a message because he hasn't found our file. If I put the good path, it will work, and then it will do the next. I can put in my logs the print my diagram dot project name. That's it. And if I will save after. I click yes, and here we can see that the project has been opened, and then I have put my diagram project name, so which is the data dictionary demo. And if I go to tools, model, diagram properties, I can see it comes from here. So it's working. We can get our project, and so I see that it is almost finished. So just to do it quickly, to finish it, because it's very simple. Now, here I have my project name, and what we want is to generate a report. So what I will do is to type my diagram dot generate report, because this is a method which exists. It wants as a parameter the launch file, my quick launch. So if I go back to my folder where I save it, it was here. So I copy the path. Backslash. I search for my report training. This is the file name. I put my file name just here. Okay, like this. And now if I can double print if I want to see it here, it will be report. It is a string. Okay, like this. And if I click my play button from here, file not found, we'll close it like if it was from my launch from my. It was already open, so when it tried to open it, didn't open it. I should have selected my active file if I want to do this. So this time it won't be file not found. And we see that it's working in the background. And now I have my message, report has been created. And so if I check what was the folder, I can always go back here. I can load my report training. I can load file, yes. If I go back, it is in roaming Idera Air Studio report. You want to write because I don't want to go. Okay, it was in program file Idera, not VS1. Just finish quick. Air Studio report. I have my DD folder, I think. No, it's folder. No, folder. What is the folder name? Quick. Don't need this one. Back here. Yes, it is right here. Okay. Past. Okay. Right. So we saw the date. It is 1756. It is 1757. If I cancel this window, if I go back to my different macros, okay, I maximize. Here I have my macro. I can play it again. I have to close it, like I said. And here I have my report, which is running. This is why I see, and it has been done. So if I go back to my folder, just to show you, and it has been 58. It has been done already. You have all the code more than what we had. The explanation I show you just now, I have post blog post with the macro, which is almost the same, and just use some variables.